Fauci says he was under anesthesia when CDC changed COVID-19 testing guidelines. https://twitter.com/dal8/status/1298729127072194562 @Sanjay Gupta reports Fauci told him he was under general anesthesia in the operating room. He had a vocal cord polyp removed. During meeting where the change to the testing guideline was discussed, was not part of any discussion. He says he's concerned about the change. Beyond satire. From the article, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention changed its COVID-19 testing guidelines this week to exclude people without symptoms of coronavirus, even if they've recently been in contact with infected individuals. Studies, meanwhile, find nearly half of infections are from asymptomatic transmissions, amid reports that the sudden change in guidelines came from the top of the Trump administration. CNN reported on Wednesday that top infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci was incapacitated when the decision was made. The mods are asleep, commit treason. It's starting to get to the point that the FDA and CDC have become so politicized by this administration that I'm beginning to question the safety of an eventual vaccine, and I'm as far from an anti-vaxxer as it gets. The Trump administration should be charged with violation of the RICO laws. Most corrupt administration ever. Your country is being run by absolute fucking clowns straight into the ground. Vote. Just like children to wait till the adults are asleep. Let me guess how they want this to play out. Red states will start quoting CDC guidelines, because they're the law and order party, after all, and tighten restrictions on who can be tested, and suddenly their case counts will improve, but overall death rates will increase. But that could be from anything. Right, guys? At the same time, as we already see happening, sane governors will reject this lunacy and continue to increase testing capacity and lab capacity for faster turnaround, and they'll see a slower, more measured decrease in cases, assuming they continue with mask mandates and closures and social distancing. Trump and the GOP will focus in on the sharper rates of decline in the states no longer testing as much and claim victory. Man, I can't imagine how much it must suck to fight so fervently against intelligence. These people are scratching and clawing their way deeper into stupidity, and I just can't understand it. Such cowards. Can someone just anesthetize me for the remainder of 2020, please? I keep thinking about Chernobyl. How all the government administrators who knew jack shit about radioactive materials were sitting around a table, smiling, and almost whimsically talking about sweeping the entire problem under the rug. They only cared about appearances, about how the USSR was perceived. And then an expert comes to the table and has to pretty much scream and break down in tears for anyone in the government to understand how much of a problem it is. Being Dr. Fauci in these task force meetings must feel a lot like being Dr. Legasov in those Chernobyl meetings. In a word, heartbreaking. They slipped him a Mickey. These fucks/s. I'm losing my fucking mind. Taking a page from the Cheney/Gonzalez/Bush playbook, blatant corruption on a scale that makes Venezuela look like Norway. This is like when the Bush admin tried to get A.G. Ashcroft to sign off on some illegal surveillance shit while he was in the hospital on drugs, and the entire DOJ went to the hospital to stop them. Except the Trump admin has done a more thorough job of filling the agencies with partisan hacks to make sure no one would stop them this time. Sounds about right. American Lives re-election. Look up any reputable COVID-19 tracking site, and way back to July 13th. Texas and Florida are burning. July 14th. Nah, everywhere's fine, cases are suddenly dropping because of the heat. Pure evil. Many will die for Trump's attempt at political gain. You can only ignore this pandemic so long before you have to start turning away patients by age at ER, literal death panels that conservatives were freaking out about back in 2010. Sedating people so they can be taken advantage of is a favorite tactic of right-wingers. You can't make this shit up. New York is doing a better job leading the nation than anywhere. LMAO fuck that we don't listen to the CDC. If the CDC is feedin' bullshit is an astoundingly appropriate response in a backwards ass world. There is seriously not much that surprises me anymore with this administration, but holy fucking shit. This is insane. This administration is completely off the rails and does not give one single fuck about anything other than making themselves look better to win re-election and stay out of prison. Register, vote, volunteer, let's crush these criminal cowards. Isn't this similar to what they did with, damn it, back in the Bush era? It is unconscionable that this administration is letting people die and be permanently damaged because they don't care about scientific authorities. Whether it's COVID, climate change, women and transgender health, children's mental health in ICE detention, the list is endless. They need to be held accountable. The man is 80 years old and has served 6 presidents, and Trump used his fucking surgery as a political tool against him. I am so ashamed. We don't deserve Dr. Fauci. Cool. Very normal, super duper. Is he literally the only person who keeps the CDC in check? What the hell is going on here? Is there a single good Republican anymore? Or are they all fucking sleazeballs now? Who's Anastasia and does your wife know about her? Fuck Trump. Seriously, he's the polyp that should have been removed. Edit, spelling. I hate that the testing guidelines for a deadly and highly transmittable disease falls under politics. I thought the Bush administration was dirty, but this Trump gang is a whole new level. Fuck y'all. Type SHT/R/Nathanian. Sometimes I wonder what is more enjoyable, continually waking up every day to these complete morons destroying my country, or having someone come over to smash my skull in with a ball-peen hammer and then poking the exposed brain with a stick. Choices. I'm a provider who regularly orders tests for COVID. Before we were even made aware of this, we dismissed the new guidelines as something foolish and short-sighted. I will continue testing asymptomatic patients. I'm sure the timing of that was not an accident. The US is a failed state being run by a crime syndicate. Remember when public free-to-attend school was shifted to online learning and you still have to pay for high-speed internet because it hasn't been adopted as a public utility? Just another reason to renounce your citizenship in a very long list. It's pretty abhorrent to change the guidelines whilst Dr. Fauci was having surgery. They obviously did it on purpose, so President Trump can say the number of cases are declining. However, the death toll will be rising, presumably. If no one is tested, and death count keeps going up, is President Trump going to try to get control of those numbers too? I wonder if Dr. Fauci can do anything about it now. Probably not the first person Trump fucked while they were unconscious. Not that it would matter. They stopped listening to him months ago. Imagine the book he could write. Ouch. Which country has the highest death toll and counting? Motherfuckers. Trump admins whack. Why the fuck is everything a goddamn game? Let's just fuck this shit up even more. Trump administration. Quick, old man Fauci is asleep, let's do America dirty. Fauci after surgery, get off my lawn. That's how I feel too, Tony. At least they didn't tea poison his tea. This is like when you heat up food at 12 a.m. when your mom goes to bed after she told you no more food. What a coincidence. The people who work at CDC and FDA have an obligation to the American people, not politicians. These changing guidelines are ridiculous and outrageous. I don't trust any of them anymore at all. It's sickening that people have no integrity. Y'all feel like voting yet? I feel bad for the Onion writer that was writing this and had their article scrapped because it actually happened.